Yo, what's up everybody, it's Marginsai, and we're talking website speed because in the online world, speed is king. Did you know that a slow website can kill your SEO and drive customers away in seconds? Think about it, have you ever waited for a website to load for like an eternity? Nope, you probably bounced and went to a competitor. A 1 second delay in page load can reduce conversions by 7%. That's huge, you're losing customers and money with every millisecond your site takes to load. But don't worry, I got you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to speed up your site, boost your rankings, and keep those customers clicking. Alright, so let's break it down. Why is website speed so crucial? Well, there are several reasons. First off, Google loves fast websites. It's a known fact that search engines prioritize speed. It's all about user experience and nobody wants to wait for a slow page to load. Imagine you're in a hurry, and the page just keeps buffering. Google knows this, and they prioritize sites that load quickly. They want to provide the best experience for their users. Think of it like this. A fast-loading website is like a well-oiled machine. It just runs smoothly and efficiently. No hiccups, no delays. Google sees that, and they reward you with higher rankings. It's their way of saying, good job, keep it up. On the flip side, a slow website, that's like trying to drive a car with a flat tire. It's just a frustrating experience. You can't get anywhere fast. And guess what? Google doesn't want to send people to a frustrating experience. They want their users to be happy and satisfied. So, if you want to rank higher in search results, you gotta get that website speed up to par. It's not just a nice to have, it's a must have. But it's not just about Google, it's about your users too. They are the ones who will ultimately decide your website's fate. We live in a world of instant gratification. People want things now, not later. People want information and they want it now. If they can't get it from you, they'll go somewhere else. If your website takes forever to load, they're gonna bounce before they even see what you have to offer. It's a lost opportunity. It's like, you have this amazing product, this incredible content, but it's hidden behind a wall of loading screens. It's like a treasure chest that no one can open. Imagine going to a store and every time you try to enter, the door gets stuck. You'd be pretty annoyed, right? You'd probably just give up and go somewhere else, right? That's exactly what happens online. That's what's happening when your website is slow. People are leaving before they even get a chance to see what you offer. People are bouncing off to your competitors because they're not willing to wait around. They want speed and efficiency. And speaking of competitors, speed can be a major differentiator. It's one of the easiest ways to stand out. Let's say, you and your biggest competitor have similar products, similar prices, but their website loads in a snap, and yours takes ages. Who do you think customers are going to choose? Exactly. Who do you think customers are going to choose? Exactly. The faster website wins every time. Speed gives you that competitive edge. It shows that you're on top of your game, and you value your customers' time. In the end, it's all about making a great impression and keeping your users happy. Now let's dive into the culprits behind slow websites. These are the common speed killers that can turn a smooth browsing experience into a frustrating ordeal. It's like those tech tips videos where we break down common issues, except this time, it's all about optimizing your website for speed. We're going to explore the various elements that can slow down your site and how you can fix them to ensure a seamless user experience. First up, we've got those massive, unoptimized images. These are often the biggest culprits when it comes to slow loading times. They're like the bulky furniture of the internet, taking up way too much space and slowing everything down. Just like a cluttered room can make it hard to move around, large images can make it hard for your website to load quickly. Imagine trying to load a web page that has a bunch of high-resolution images, all those megabytes trying to squeeze through the internet pipes at once. It's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. Users get frustrated, bounce rates increase, and your site's performance takes a hit. You gotta optimize those images, folks. This means resizing them, compressing them, and ensuring they're not hogging all the bandwidth. Resize them, compress them, make sure they're not hogging all the bandwidth. Tools like image compression software can be a lifesaver here. Next on the list, we've got plugin overload. Plugins are like apps for your website. They can add cool features and functionality, but too many of them can bog down your site like crazy. Plugins are like apps for your website. They can add cool features and functionality, but too many of them can bog down your site like crazy. It's like having a million apps open on your phone at the same time. It's just gonna slow everything to a crawl. It's like having a million apps open on your phone at the same time. It's just gonna slow everything to a crawl. Each plugin adds its own load to your site, and too many can make it sluggish. So take a look at your plugins, see which ones you actually use and need, and ditch the rest. It's all about finding that balance between functionality and speed. It's all about finding that balance between functionality and speed. You want a website that looks good and works well, but not at the expense of loading times. You want a website that looks good and works well, but not at the expense of loading times. A fast website keeps users happy and engaged. Now let's talk about hosting. Your hosting server is like the foundation of your website. Your hosting server is like the foundation of your website. If you're on a slow, unreliable host, your website is going to suffer. If you're on a slow, unreliable host, your website is going to suffer. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. It's just not going to end well. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. It's just not going to end well. Invest in a quality hosting provider. One that has fast servers, reliable uptime, and good customer support. Invest in a quality hosting provider. One that has fast servers, reliable uptime, and good customer support. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Trust me, it's worth the investment. A fast, reliable host can make all the difference in the world when it comes to website speed. A fast, reliable host can make all the difference in the world when it comes to website speed. Moving on, let's talk about code. Specifically, JavaScript and CSS files. Specifically, JavaScript and CSS files. These files are essential for how your website looks and functions, but if they're not optimized, they can really slow things down. These files are essential for how your website looks and functions, but if they're not optimized, they can really slow things down. Make sure your JavaScript and CSS files are minified and combined. Make sure your JavaScript and CSS files are minified and combined. This basically means removing all the unnecessary characters and spaces, making the files smaller and faster to load. This basically means removing all the unnecessary characters and spaces, making the files smaller and faster to load. It's like cleaning up your code, making it lean and mean. It's like cleaning up your code, making it lean and mean. And finally, we can't forget about caching. Caching can significantly improve your website speed by storing copies of your site's files closer to your users. Alright, so we've talked about the problems, now let's get into the solutions. Here are some actionable tips to speed up your website. These tips are practical and can be implemented without needing a deep technical background. First up, we're going back to images. Images are often the largest files on a website and can significantly impact loading times. Like I said before, image optimization is crucial. It's not just about reducing file size, but also about choosing the right format. Use the right file format, like WebP for better compression, and make sure your images are sized appropriately for your website. WebP can reduce file sizes without compromising quality. Don't upload a massive high-resolution image if it's just going to be displayed as a small thumbnail. This is a common mistake that can easily be avoided. Resize those images before you upload them, your website will thank you for it. This simple step can make a big difference in your site's performance. And while you're at it, use descriptive file names and alt text for your images. This helps search engines understand what your images are about. This not only helps with SEO, but it also makes your website more accessible. Accessibility is crucial for reaching a wider audience. Next up, let's talk about HTTP requests. These are the requests your browser makes to load all the elements of your page. Every time someone visits your website, their browser has to send a bunch of requests to your server to load all the different elements of your page. This includes images, scripts, and style sheets. The more requests, the longer it takes for your website to load. Reducing the number of requests can significantly speed up your site. So, how do you reduce HTTP requests? One effective method is to combine your files. Well, one way is to combine your files. This means merging multiple JavaScript or CSS files into one. Remember how we talked about minifying your JavaScript and CSS files? Minification removes unnecessary characters from your code. Well, you can also combine them into fewer files, which reduces the number of requests your browser has to make. This can lead to faster load times. And speaking of reducing requests, let's talk about CDNs. A CDN can distribute your content across multiple servers. A CDN, or Content Delivery Network, is basically a network of servers located all over the world. This helps in delivering content more efficiently. When someone visits your website, this CDN serves your content from the server that's closest to them geographically. This reduces latency and speeds up loading times. This not only improves loading times, but it also helps with redundancy and security. If one server goes down, another can take over. Now, remember how we talked about caching earlier? Caching can store frequently accessed data for quicker retrieval. Well, there are different types of caching, and one of the most important is browser caching. This can drastically reduce load times for repeat visitors. When you enable browser caching, you're basically telling your visitors' browsers to store certain files from your website on their device. This means faster load times on subsequent visits. So the next time they visit your site, those files can be loaded from their local cache instead of having to be downloaded again. This is especially beneficial for returning users. This can significantly speed up loading times, especially for repeat visitors. It's a simple yet effective way to enhance user experience. And finally, let's talk about hosting again. Your hosting provider plays a crucial role in your website's performance. Choosing the right hosting provider can make a huge difference in your website's speed and performance. Not all hosting plans are created equal. If you're serious about having a fast website, you need to invest in a quality hosting plan. Look for features like solid-state drives and high-speed servers. Look for a provider that offers fast servers, solid-state drives, and a content delivery network. These features can significantly enhance your website's speed and reliability. Alright, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about why website speed matters, the common culprits behind slow websites, and some actionable tips to speed things up. But here's the thing. Optimizing your website for speed is not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. The internet is constantly evolving, and so are the best practices for website speed optimization. So, what can you do to stay ahead of the curve? Well, first of all, make sure you're regularly testing your website speed. There are a ton of free tools out there like Google PageSpeed Insights and GTmetrix that can give you a detailed breakdown of your website's performance. These tools will tell you exactly what's slowing down your website and give you specific recommendations on how to fix it. But it's not just about using tools, it's also about staying informed. Keep up with the latest trends in web development and website speed optimization. Read blog posts, listen to podcasts, attend webinars, whatever it takes to stay in the know. The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about your website's performance. And most importantly, don't be afraid to experiment. Try different optimization techniques, see what works best for your website, and don't be afraid to make changes. Now I want to hear from you. How fast is your website? Go ahead and run a speed test using one of the tools I mentioned earlier and drop your score in the comments below. Let's see who has the fastest website in the house. And hey, while you're at it, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. Alright, so that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully, you learned a thing or two about website speed optimization. Remember, a fast website is a happy website both for you and your users. So go forth and optimize. And hey, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, thanks for watching.